Welcome, everybody. He's Marco, I'm Driggs, and we are wallowing in the sticks.
Good evening, Barrister. I'm delighted to be wallowing here with our grand community.
Yeah, it's nice. It's a wallow for sure, and the community is grand. Now, I thought instead of doing a percentage of the progress of the tournament tonight, because at this point there was no real change or nothing unexpected, so people can just do their own mathematics based on the clues we've given them to our own algorithm that they can self-determine. But I did want to stick with the percentage, and I'm happy to report that our list is growing every day. Our subscribers and our VIP is growing every day, and wow, that's proprietary information. You can't really give that out, although we've kind of let that information slip here and there. I am happy to express that we are growing faster than the Major League Baseball season is moving toward its conclusion.
Wow. That's amazing in two parts. Part that we're actually violating people's rights by giving we're not. We mentioned my cousin Steven, who's a brother to me. That's the only thing, and he was happy to get an ahoy hoy. But yeah, so I don't know. Based on the numbers going back and forth, I'm just not sure if how much our fan base is growing, but it is growing.
Yeah.
And they are vigilant, and I couldn't be happier.
And we're more interested in quality over quantity anyway. And on the note of quality, I have to express, so I'm having dinner tonight with my folks, which I try to do as often as possible. And so I'm watching the game that we're losing on in the background, but I got the sound off, but I didn't hit the closed caption button. And I realized that they're not just piping in crowd noise, but that crowd noise is being piped in through the closed captioning.
I haven't had the brains or the luck to even experiment with that. That's hilarious.
Right? So in the closed captioning, it says cheering. Right? Cheering.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Could this be more fun? All of this,
right?
Fun.
Truly.
We're having so much fun. Let's just get you angry, man. Go right into polemics, man.
Oh, okay. That took a turn. I'm ready.
I want to do the polemics, and then we could game action is game action. People have their TVs on all day. Let's. Yeah. I've been waiting for this polemics.
Wow. I can get serious and get focused here. I don't know. Let me just start off by asking you directly. Did you hear about Rutgers University and their new policy that they've approved regarding grammar?
I heard a little bit here and there, and I've read a few things, but I really purposely limited my understanding of it, waiting for this section. I think that's why I jumped the gun, because I was so waiting to hear what's going to come from you, and it's not going to be it's not going to be Helene-esque where it's just going to be you copying headlines. You're going to have an original take. So this is going to be something that I've heard of, but purposely put my blinders on and my earmuffs on so I could absorb.
Well, you're a politically inclined kind of guy, but I assume most people have not heard of what Rutgers University has a policy they've adopted, and so this is probably a first impression for most people. But Rutgers University has expressed that they are not going to be, judging or evaluating or scoring students based on grammar ever. Next term moving forward, grammar doesn't count anymore. You can't be graded down for grammar. I found this hilarious. It's changing its approach to grammar. The department no longer intends to strictly enforce rules of grammar. New approach articulated by the chair is called critical grammar. Now, part of me is like, oh, are they going to be accepting like emojis in dissertations? What the hell is this? And then I realized this is brilliant. so you can put your emojis in your dissertations. You can get your emotions, and you're not limited by commas and colons or semicolons. And I thought, this is fantastic, because this is an emotional time, Marco. This is a time where we're really feeling our souls. And some of us are quarantining and masks and COVID, and we've got a presidential campaign coming up. Why would we want to limit students to semicolons and give them a hard time about that kind of stuff? And it just tied into the entire Major League Baseball tournament. Rules are off right now. And so I think this is a great policy, so long as Rutgers understands that as soon as things are back to normal, we will be able to evaluate students based on whether they know what a sentence is or not. Just like when this tournament is over, you ain't putting a guy on second base to start the ninth inning. So as long as that's the plan, that's fine. However, I don't think that's the plan, Marco.
Uh-oh. You don't think that's the plan?
I don't.
That's not cynical. That's using critical thinking, because you're thinking the whole thing is just going to be erased, and that's a good polemics, and it's a little bit unbelievable. We went from not having any language, from grunts to Latin to developing language, to me as a kid diagramming sentences, being chosen from the fourth grade class in my little uniform, having to diagram a sentence, to texting, where now everything has letters that are mashed together for words, and now we're going back to symbols, so we're right back to where the cavemen are.
Yes, it's full circle, which is fine, because like the Major League Baseball tournament, it's just fun right now. We're doing what we can. We're being emotional and just trying to get through this. So yeah, as a teacher too, right now is not the time to be giving a kid a hard time about you didn't put a comma where it belonged. But this isn't the way to resolve our issues with baseball games taking too long, or with students not punctuating correctly. So
I agree with you, but I think it's the old slippery slope. I don't think there's any going back. I mean, you do email. Are you writing letters and putting them in the post, or are you sending emails? People don't want to go back. People do not want to go back. I mean, we have ballpoint pens. We don't use inkwells. I do fear that you're correct, that the grammar is going to just be erased. And I already made my point about full circle. Well, that was heavy. You want to lighten up with a little game action? Do we want to talk about anything at all that's going to lift our spirits, or you want me to go to the COVID corner?
Well, I think we should review the games. Interesting stuff taking place today. Atlanta bats are cooled, but more importantly for us and our subscribers, we're 1-1 on the day. An easy win and an easy loss, if there's such a thing. It was clear it was going to be a loss. And then in our first read, our first read fire, we're in danger of losing our first play. Kelly matched Paddock pitch for pitch and outlasted him. The Padres missed some opportunities for some runs early, and now to win that on the run line is gonna take luck. But we'll take luck if we get it. So we're looking at going 1-2, which would put us at 10-3 in our last 13, which overall is a percentage that if we can run anywhere near there, we'll be having a very successful season. But tonight's looking like a little bit of a hit is coming our way.
Since the math just comes to me these days, I'm going to say that's more than 2/3, just less than 80%. That's pretty darn good.
Yeah. So
it's like 27%. Come on.
So we're still in.
And we're still in this. We're still in.
Yeah. They could have although there's one less out to play with. So that's where that's at.
What are you going right with not doing the grammar correctly? Fewer, Michael. Fewer. One fewer out. You're gonna jump right on that bandwagon.
So, Marco, what is still a thing?
Still a thing is I was talking to one of our listeners, and like I noticed, because I'm your writer, man. I'm living a fantasy. You're my Orson Welles. You're a genius. The young, handsome Orson Welles. Not the one that got fat and looked like a clown and was doing the Paul Masson commercials. But you forced me to do this. You twisted my arm. I love you. So, but I told you I'm very self-conscious. And so he was telling me that, you look like you're twitching a little bit too much. You're checking yourself out. And so what's still a thing, and it all ties in, is that the fan attendance has been staying very consistent. And we talked about Soto and his family. We talked about your buddy, I think his name was Chris. I can't remember what his name was, that has the one in his cutout is in Tampa for some reason, even though he's a Dodger fan. What's his name?
Jack, yeah.
Great likeness of him, but he got 20% off. Frugal guy, Jack. We understood. And so, because I'm getting used to the cardboard cutouts, because my buddy, who's also just joined up, he doesn't want to be named right now, though. Very, very secretive. He's one of these big spender guys.
Sure.
He's in the process, and I hope it comes through, because he's a busy guy. He's a captain of industry and thing. But he is in that process of actually making a cardboard cutoff of me that I could put in this chair. So there will be no fidgeting, and there will be no checking myself out. So I'll be behind that. You'll hear my voice and my hopefully funny comments. And so these cardboard cutouts are still a thing, but we love them.
Now, if we could just get some closed captioning of what you're saying. So I was looking a little bit closer at the blood work, right? So I got the blood work. I talked about that yesterday and how good it is, and how just amazingly healthy I am, and how the blood work proves that. But when you have the paperwork in front of you, you really start looking through it all. You start reading everything. There's an area for height that's put their height, weight, and I noticed that for height it says 60 inches, and it's
Right.
running 60 inches from the first time my height was measured. And now the doctor hasn't measured my height again. I've just never noticed it. But 60 inches, that's 5 feet tall. Now, I'm not a tall man, but I'm not 60 inches either.
No.
So I need a recount on this height. I mean, what do I do, Marco? 60 inches for the last 4 years, it's indicated.
I know exactly what you do. You go into that doctor, and you do a Tim Conway. You walk in on your knees, and then you're only like 3 feet. You're only 36 inches. And then he's going to be shocked. He's going to be like, we really have to measure you. We think you shrunk. And then you're going to get a correct measurement.
I need correct. I do, because, I mean, but if I wasn't so interested in my blood work, imagine I go through life, they'd have given me a coffin that they'd had to saw off my legs for.
Yeah, it's I got morbid. I'm telling you, Tim Conway, you're dying on me. You're my Orson Welles. Even Welles, he abused himself, lived a long time. You ain't going anywhere.
But you know what is not a good idea? What is not a good suggestion is these toke services. These toke services who are in the business of selling pics. Now, you want to join the Pics for Sticks wallowness. You want to wallow with us and suffer through and ruminate in the sticks with us, then send your email to picsforsticks@gmail.com and join the community. Wallow with us.
Wallow with us in the sticks. And it's not wallowing in your misery, it's luxuriating, but it's doing it in a relaxing way. And it's it's absinthe, it's boiling our own bourbon, it's relaxing, it's the quiet, mellifluous sound of crickets. We're wallowing in the sticks, and we're winning. I mean, we're almost at 80%, and we haven't lost the San Diego first read just yet, as far as I could tell. Because I know I would have got the report.
You know what the best thing about a down night on a Saturday is that the Sunday games start so early, so you make up your down night early. It's not even a 24-hour overlay of being down.
So within the wallowing, we have optimism in the sticks.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit before you go into first reads, because we want to wind it up. We promised to keep this a little tighter, and I went
a little tighter after your COVID corner. Sure.
I love you, man. Tell me about your baseball collection, and then send that right into first reads, man, and putting all the pressure on you. Obviously, who's the one that didn't come prepared today? You do everything, Michael.
So I do want to make this comment about my baseball card collection. So as a kid, I collected baseball cards, and I made it, it was my number one thing, and I could know all the stats, and I loved the images and the cards and the gum and just the camaraderie with the friends. The friends didn't last, but the baseball cards did, Marco. And
yes.
So I always held on to them. My first year collecting baseball cards was 1978. And so I was an 8-year-old kid, and I didn't know about complete sets. I didn't know about that. I just knew about chasing down the ice cream man and not buying ice cream, but buying baseball cards with all the change I had. And so I didn't have complete sets, and I never wanted to collect complete sets. I just wanted packs, because to me, opening up the packs was the beauty of it all. And so from 1978 to about 1983, I had packs of baseball cards. And by about 1983, I moved into Dungeons and Dragons, which is a different story. And
different show.
What?
Different show.
Yeah, different show. And so those are my main peak years of collecting baseball cards. And then about the early 1990s, you got a box full of baseball cards that you haven't looked at in years, and you want to see, do you have any gems? And so about 1990, I go through my baseball cards from just huge boxes full of multiple thousands of baseball cards, and you pull out the gems. You pull out, hey, I had a Ricky Henderson in 1980. Hey, I had a rookie Ricky. I had a rookie Dwight Gooden. Hey, I had these cards. And so 1990, you go through, but you don't throw out the big box of cards. And then in about 2000, you return, hey, did anybody wind up having a Hall of Fame career that you missed in 1990?
Right.
So in 2000, you go through and you got all the, and you find one or two more gems, or maybe it was a player had a tragic death or something who didn't have a great career, but that card now has meaning and value. And so you pull it out and you put it aside and you got it in your folder. So I'm cleaning out the garage today. It's 2020, right? These are cards from 1983, and I'm looking at the box, and I know I've been through there, 25 years ago. I haven't gone through there. And I looked at the box and I'm thinking, no, I've gone through there. These are baseball players. Their careers are over. It's not like a box of writing that you have 20 years later and you want to go through and, hey, the story didn't make sense then, but I can adapt it now. or this piece of artwork had no value then, but now society's caught up to it. It's not like Chris Spire in 1979 who hit 217. 30 years later, you find his card is suddenly valuable. So I'm looking at that box knowing there's nothing worthwhile in there, that this has been gone through 20 years ago, but it didn't gain any value. Nobody suddenly became great in those 20 years.
In those 20 years, yeah, because
right.
They were
right. They'd already been sorted through. And Marco, I still couldn't just throw it away.
No.
We can move on in life, because who needs 11 Chris Spires times 1,000? So
that was great. First reads, bang, man. That was a great read in the first reads.
Before we get there, I have to share the spam email I got at pixels.gmail.com. Look, we're here to entertain you. We're here to give you advice. If you want to tail us, that's great. If you want to use our information to reject and use in your own way, that's great. We're just a cool community of sour mash generating, sauerkraut eating, wallowing connoisseurs of all the finer things in life. So join our community. We don't charge for our plays. They're free. Right now we're on a 10-3 run, and we will never do this to you. Look at this text I get today.
Scream.
So
I bet you were screamed at again.
yeah, 20-4 MLB run. 2 games today that will win big. Midday special. I want your late night special. What is this midday special? 50 for 2 games today plus 7 days of service. Plus, if you reply MLB, how corny is that? Reply MLB. It is a must win or 14 days on me. Wait, let me get this straight. So if it's a loser, I get 14 days of your losers. Can I have my $50 back?
Can I have $50?
I mean,
I'm a loser.
it's unbelievable.
Hey, man, if you keep losing, you keep getting free picks, man. I want my $50 back. Nope, I'm gonna give you some more.
Whether you
If the tournament ends, we're gonna roll right into the WNBA.
All right. So we'll never do that to you. We promise.
Never.
So Baltimore and Washington. Wow, that wraps up the series tomorrow. With is Baltimore hot? Is Washington hot? Who the hell knows? Which of those two teams is hot? Same thing in Atlanta and Philadelphia. Is Atlanta hot or is Philadelphia hot? Strasburg, at least for Washington, makes his return. So that's interesting. Philadelphia doesn't know who's pitching. I put out in the email today how handicapping is difficult this tournament because overnight analysis, usually that's when I do most of my good advance work is overnight. But what's the point of that if you don't even know who's pitching? DeGrom tomorrow, we love him.
Yes, we love DeGrom.
We do, and I think Miami is starting to go down. So maybe DeGrom might be worth the 400 that he's going to draw. New York and Tampa Bay. The pitching matchup certainly favors Tampa Bay. Paxton against Morton. Is Tampa Bay going to be able to win the series at home? And then we got the second game of the Atlanta-Philadelphia doubleheader, which we were anticipating would be today, but won't be until tomorrow. So a lot of games on the board. Toronto-Boston. Interesting game in Boston. Just when you're starting to give up on Toronto, they pull out a 2-1 win today in a game where they got a lot of hits and only played 2 guys. So you think, is Boston at home? And the Boston, while they seem to have Toronto's number, are they even taking the season seriously? But their top pitcher goes tomorrow against Shoemaker. It's a good pitching matchup. Toronto, Boston, a couple of 5-7, 5-9 teams. It's a rubber game in the series. It means a lot. Detroit, Pittsburgh. What the hell is going on there? That's just it's like a NASCAR speedway race. So are they going to keep scoring runs tomorrow, or is the pitching going to get a little better? It might for Detroit. I see no evidence that Brault for Pittsburgh is going to be able to get anybody out. Minnesota, Kansas City tomorrow. Berrios goes. He's been trying to find his groove against Singer. Is there any way Kansas City sweeps Minnesota? Highly unlikely, but we fell for that trap today ourselves. Cincinnati, Milwaukee. I've been doing a good job of handicapping Cincinnati. I understand what they're doing. I feel them, but tomorrow is interesting because is Cincinnati really going to sweep Milwaukee on the road with look, Sonny Gray is a Desi Vance contender, like a top 3. Can he move through Milwaukee tomorrow? But Woodruff has been good for Milwaukee, so that's a good matchup. LA Angels. This is Haney against Lynn. So it's Gray over in Milwaukee. Lynn, these guys have been amazing. So are the Angels bats going to be the ones that finally get to Lynn? And is Haney going to be able to match him pitch for pitch? You got Houston and Oakland. Javier against Luzardo. That's, Houston just doesn't seem to be the same team now that circumstances are a little different this year. Oakland has gotten on a roll since we started to talk about when they were playing 50-50 against Seattle, right? But are they prepared to sweep Houston at home? They just might be. look at what's happening in that Dodger game today. They go to the bottom of the ninth with the Dodgers down a run. San Francisco may be able to get tag a loss onto I always want to call Kershaw Hershiser, but it's Kershaw.
Well, you got something against him, but we'll talk about that another day.
Right. And so Gaussman is going against Buehler. That may be a game we want to get involved in to some extent. This Colorado team is right where they want to be. You know, they were one of the teams that were opposed to even playing this season. And it's almost like everybody thought so they would just walk through it and not get serious. But they were like, oh, okay, you're going to make us play? All right, we'll suit it up and kick your fucking asses. They're 10-3 out the gate, and they are doing to Seattle what every other team should have been doing to Seattle this year. So they got the better pitcher tomorrow. They're going to be expensive. Marquez against Sheffield. And then the Padres go behind Lamet. Arizona throws Baumgartner. And we enter the bottom of the ninth, and maybe our Padres can get a run here, tie it up. And then, or maybe somebody will hit a 3-run homer because we need to win that game by 2 runs. But our position is not good in that situation. And Arizona San Diego wraps up their series, which is looking like it's probably going to be the rubber game of the series with then the night game, the late game is Cleveland and the White Sox. That's a great pitching matchup. Bieber, who will strike out everybody, against Giolito. I don't know how to say his name.
Giolito.
Right.
In French, I love it.
Right, a couple of aces against each other. It's so funny. You thought Cleveland was finally going to start hitting the ball again, and they follow up today with a 7-1 win. So
I gotta hear you say that pitching matchup for the night game again. Just
Bieber against Giolito.
Perfecto, amico. Well, there's 3 games that jump out at me. Of course, you know I'm gonna be very interested in Cotton Candy Haney. He's my boy. I said, you know, I talk a lot about him, how he could have been an ace if he wasn't made of spit and glue. So that game's interesting to me. And then, you know, the Beard, he's going against the Beard, Lynn, right, you said? And the other game that's very interesting to me is, I mean, how much chalk you gonna have to lay if you take the Dodgers and Buehler? Is that a lot?
You'll be at 240, 260.
That's pretty high because I got no faith in this Gaussman. I mean, he's inconsistent. He's going to get torched. I have a feeling, and I'd like to, and Buehler, you know, is Buehler. I mean, he's considered an elite guy, even though he's young. So I'm very interested in seeing, I could see that the Dodgers could win that game 10-2 or something like that. But just in my gut, I feel like you pick these. Indigestion. You pick these A's before anybody did. And I watch a lot of the big guys on Fox Sports and stuff like that. Before anybody, you said they're going to walk away with the West. You were ahead, and I just want to report that. We reported here first that this was going to be a team that was pretty much a lock to win that division, which means pretty much a lock for the playoffs. They've won. You said they won tonight, so that's 9 in a row.
Yeah, but I just don't.
They got to be ready for a loss at some point. So those are the 3 games I'm interested in. My biggest interest would be that Angel game, but I'm curious also about the Dodger game. And so I don't want to get involved in breaking your juju on the A's because I think that just the reality is they have to take a fall. How do you feel about you don't really get a choice in this, but how do you feel about taking a flyer on that Dodger game?
Yeah, your pick, man. I'll find the play.
Okay. I want you to do because I'm interested in that.
That's the fun of it. So
okay, that's what I want to do. It's too easy for me to pick Haney, Lynn. Yeah. It's just that was too easy for me, and let's go something a little different. I'm curious about Buehler and Gaussman. You said Gaussman is the other pitcher, right?
Yeah.
I'm curious about that game. I would love for you to do that game. Please take a flyer on that game. And that's it.
So, in ahoy to Nancy Pirozzi, who has done another song for us. Your lyrics, her voice. We have a new theme song, and that'll play us on out. Okay? We'll see everybody tomorrow. Join our VIP list.
Yeah, picks. 4 sticks is the gambler's dream. It's free, it's fun, it's every eve. Join our list and see how we win. Picks 4 sticks is the gambler's dream.
And I'm going to say goodnight to you, Mike.
Thank you. Beautiful job tonight, Marco. We'll see you tomorrow.
All right. See you tomorrow.